Hello again. Thank you, Madam Moderator. I hope you'll forgive me for wishing as I approach the mic tonight, given what I'm about to ask you for. I hope we have more fans of basketball, volleyball, and wrestling than we do tennis in the audience tonight, or I'm going to be here for a while. It's okay. I'm up for the fight. I rise tonight on behalf of our EFPBC and the Select Board to present this article, and if you're feeling it's deja vu all over again, it's because last spring this slide looked like this. I certainly feel that way. So at last Springtown meeting, under Article 34, you did unanimously approve funding for the reflooring and reconfiguration of the Winchester High School gym. And while we greatly appreciate the support and enthusiasm around this project, we indeed are back at the well tonight, seeking additional funding to award the project following bids this past summer and a funding gap that exists. So I'm going to blow through this quickly in case we have a few new members or those who missed the presentation in the spring. I want to very quickly recognize this space in this building makes an outstanding first impression, doesn't it? It does not suffer for lack of maintenance or care. This is a space whose floor has long worn out its useful life, and it's a space whose configuration really does not meet the needs of multiple sports in the district and in the community. And there's an opportunity to address both. So, project scope. There's three key components. First, of course, the reflooring. So we propose to replace the sheet rubber floor that's failing with a resilient athletic maple surface over sleepers with shock pads, very similar surface to what our peer districts in the Middlesex League have. I mentioned we look to replace equipment where required, relocate some equipment where we can, but most excitingly, we also look to reconfigure the space, basically turning it 90 degrees. So why now? The existing floor is failing, it's blistering, the seams are separating. It's now over 19 years old. I did not update that slide for tonight. 15 years is typical. The surface is delaminating from the substrate, and that bottom image is really important. Although it's meant to look like wood from a distance, it's not. It's rubber. It's fake wood. The picture of the wood wore off many years ago, but more importantly, the texture, that surface has worn smooth, and that actually becomes increasingly a safety issue for us. The seams are separating. Some of you saw that when you took the tour. Our existing gym structure can accommodate the detail that you see on the right, which is sleepers and shock pads to support a subbase with athletic maple flooring. This gives you an idea what the installation looks like. And what we're especially excited about is, unlike the rubber floor, which typically lasts 15 years, districts are seeing 40 years or more out of their maple floors when properly maintained. So we still see this as a tremendous opportunity and a smart investment for the future. Second and third components are interrelated. So with respect to the equipment replacement and relocation, certainly a reconfiguration of the gym gives us greater flexibility. I'll review that with you again in a moment. Many of the motors in our existing bleachers have seized, so they're stuck. They don't work. We do have some equipment in good condition, like a number of our basketball backboards we hope to be able to relocate. But we also have some existing capacity problems. The MIAA, our athletic association, has voted new postseason attendance requirements for venues to host, and we no longer meet those requirements for both basketball and volleyball, so if our boys or girls find themselves advancing in a tournament, we're not able to host. So with respect to the reconfiguration of the gym, our existing space, you may recall, has 4 practice courts, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. They're large-ish, but they're not regulation. I've dropped in the backboards here to give you an idea. They're fine for practice, but you cannot run a varsity or sub-varsity contest on these courts. They're not regulation in size. We have 7 sets of bleachers today, 2 large ones, they each accommodate about 300 spectators, 2 medium ones at about 150, and 3 small ones at under 100 each. And as I said, many of these are actually broken. For games, what do? Well, we need a regulation court. So on the right side of the gym, we actually have a regulation court that's marked off. Perhaps you've been there, or you can watch it on WinCam, as I do frequently. This is turned 90 degrees. It's a regulation court with plenty of space for the teams on either side of the court, and coaches and equipment and so forth. And then in this image, I actually show you kind of what these bleachers look like when they're extended, but you can quickly understand that only 3 out of our 7 bleacher sets even can accommodate this arrangement. And like I said, one of these is actually broken. So today we have a seating capacity of 390. MIAA rules are for 500. We're woefully unprepared to meet this new requirement. and therefore we sought from you all in the spring authorization to reconfigure the space. It looks like this. With the divider curtains up, we would provide in the full open gym a non-regulation indoor track for practice in PE class. And then we put our half divider down. We're going to provide 2 courts, both regulation on either side, large bleacher sets at either side of the gym. Each side of the gym can also include 2 regulation-size wrestling mats. So we have the potential to run multiple sports, different sports, simultaneously on either side of the curtain. And what's also exciting about this is we no longer have to suspend our wrestling mats from the structure like we do today. We would actually have space to keep those on the ground. That's a time and efficiency and, frankly, safety issue as well. What's really exciting here is these new bleacher sets each have a capacity of 750 spectators when extended. And we're especially excited because if we need to really pack the house, the bleacher set on the left is actually movable. It can be driven across the floor with the divider curtain up, and we could actually accommodate 1,500 spectators for a very special town event. We can further divide this space into quarters. We heard this loud and clear from our coaches and from our youth sports community members. We can still provide regulation courts, not for contests, but for practice, certainly at the high school level. We think that this is a valuable opportunity to offer. Obviously, much less space for spectators, and as I think we heard from some community members in the spring, this arrangement actually allows us to be more efficient even in how we schedule some of the space with groups coming in and out, if you will. So 4 regulation basketball and or volleyball courts, we can accommodate both, plus wrestling. So very quickly, equipment relocation and configuration. If extended fully, the bleachers conflict with play today. The existing does not support simultaneous contests today. We don't meet the new MIAA rules today for postseason. Our proposal is adaptable and flexible. We can accommodate competition, practice, skill sessions, and many youth sports, and we expect to get a tremendous amount of life out of this for many generations to come. The cost and funding summary that Mr. Fallon shared with you last spring looked something like this. We had estimated a construction cost escalated from an early August 23 estimate, and we had a budget of about $2.6 million for the project. The Select Board, as the moderator noted, had already committed $1.4 million in ARPA funds. $100,000 of that was for design and engineering, leaving $1.3 million for construction. So how did we close that gap? We asked you for $960,000 from the overlay fund. There were surplus monies available, and $240,000 in free cash for $2.6 million in total project funding. And you approved it unanimously. It was great. So what happened? In June, we got favorable sub-bids for the electrical trades. They came in under the estimate. And in July, we got 4 bids from general contractors, one of which was within the budget. However, the low bidder retracted their bid. This happens from time to time. It can happen for many different reasons. And while it's not our fault, it is our problem. When the low bidder retracts their bid, we look to the second bidder. The second lowest bidder's number is above the budget, $2.7 million. Now you may think, wait a minute, Chris, you're only $100,000 off, but not so fast, because this was the GC's bid at 2.7. Remember, we were talking about a project cost in the spring of 2.6, so the gap is wider. Management, engineering, and planning have recommended to the EFPBC, and we strongly support the recommendation, that because we're basically coming back to the well here, we want to be conservative and actually carry a 15% contingency for this project and some other allowances. We hope not to spend the shortfall that we're asking to close tonight, but there are some really dire consequences if we fall short again. So we're here to help us get across the finish line. There were 2 paths. We could have rebid the project. We talked about this at length with management and engineering and planning. This was not advisable. Others have asked me about this. We had no expectation that the third and fourth place bidders were going to significantly undercut who was now the low place, second lowest bidder. We did not expect we'd see much savings there. And of course, we could look for supplemental funding. So this is what was recommended, and it's why I'm standing before you tonight. That initial gap of $670,000 that was recommended to be closed is narrower tonight, as the moderator said. After the warrant closed and was printed, we are so appreciative that the Winchester Basketball Association and the Winchester Sports Foundation have jointly donated $75,000 towards this project, specifically to the overall cost of the project to reduce our free cash ask. It's not for specific pieces of equipment, it's to help us get across the finish line. And it's not a pledge to raise money either. Both these organizations have already sent their checks to Town Hall. They're on the table of Beth Rudolph, and the Select Board accepted the donations on October 28th. And we appreciate this very much.
You've reached your 10.
May I have 1 more minute?
Proceed.
So therefore, our revised funding motion is for $595,000 in free cash. We recognize this is still an awful lot of money, but we see this as a significant investment for the future. The key step slide we showed you in the spring, we made a lot of progress on. We had our community meeting, we got great feedback. The bid documents obviously were finished. We went out to bid. We don't have a contractor signed up yet, but we have one ready to go. The work would get underway in the spring. We expect the flooring would be completed in the summer, and the rest of the project would be wrapped up in the fall, importantly by the winter season. So the EFPBC and Select Board want to thank the town meeting for your unanimous support of this project last spring. And while we regret having to come back to the well tonight, we feel very strongly about this project and the value that it brings to the district and our community at large for many decades to come. And we ask for your support once more tonight. We welcome your support and your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. 57 seconds. You just got it in there. The EFPBC and the Select Board are sponsoring this. Obviously, they recommend favorable action. The school committee recommends favorable action, and your moderator has been notified that the Finance Committee is also recommending favorable action. At this time, I'm going to have town meeting members first, and then we'll come to you, okay? Town meeting member?
Hi, my name is Michelle McCarthy, Precinct 7. I have 3 students at the high school. I am urging everyone in town meeting to please support this. I am a big basketball fan. I'm also a tennis fan. Not a great tennis or basketball player anymore, but I do hope that we can all support this. This is not just about basketball or volleyball. This is our high school gym. This is where we all vote. But I really believe this is part of our community. I have elderly parents who live in town. They have been going to basketball games and sporting events. They tell their friends at Jenks what's going on, come up to the game, and I think it's really important for all of us to recognize that this isn't just about sports, but this is also about our community, and this is about our high school. We spend, I don't know, $69 million for our school budget here, and I think that this project is important. Thank you for school committee, and I'm sorry about the bidder backing out, but thank you for staying on top of this, and I urge everyone to please support this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other town meeting members rise, we do have members of the public who would like to address you. I do need your approval to do those. All in favor of hearing from non-town meeting members, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes unanimously. You may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. My name is Hazel Evans, and I'm a sophomore.
And I'm Johanna Melhorn, and I'm a junior. We are both players for the Winchester High School girls varsity volleyball team, and we are very much in favor of the new gym renovation.
We wanted to highlight key points to help persuade you to vote in favor of the renovation.
First off, this year, the girls varsity volleyball team did very well this season. Our record was 21-3, and we made it all the way to the quarterfinals. And next year, the team is going to be just as good, and if not better, and we're hoping to make it further in the playoffs.
This being said, with the current model of the gym and only one working set of bleachers, we are not able to host a home game during the state tournament, which has proven to be a large disadvantage during playoffs, as we are away from our fans in our home gym environment.
Secondly, due to the layout of the gym space, varsity JV and freshman teams do not have enough space to practice all at once. And because of this, JV and freshman teams are forced to wait 2 hours after school before starting their practice, which is very inconvenient and time-consuming for the players.
With the proposed renovations, all 3 teams will practice at the same time, fostering our program to create a better community environment.
Lastly, over the past years, the floor has become very worn down, and it's starting to become detached, especially under the basketball hoops, which is dangerous and causes a tripping hazard, not only for the players, but also for the students who use the gym during PE.
In conclusion, we hope that you will vote yes for the gym renovation once again to support Winchester sports and advocate for the safety of the players.
Thank you so much. Well done. Congratulations on your season as well. Further on the question?
Good evening. My name is Gary Grassi, Precinct 7, and I'm the president of the Winchester Basketball Association, and here to very happily offer our support. We have, yes, done it with money from the club, but I just want to make a couple comments. Number one, I think the improvement to the gym is a generational improvement opportunity for the town. This building is a showpiece. The rebuilt Winchester High School, the gym is the part that's not finished. I think we need to do that now. The safety issues, I can't top the girls and all the other reasons they advocated for. I'll posit one more. We could handle more kids in our program with the way the gym's going to be configured, so that's something that we aspire to do and think that's good for the kids. We handle about 250 kids during our winter programs, but we could probably field some more teams and think that's good for the kids. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Seeing no town meeting members rise, I believe you're ready for the question. Majority vote is required. A vote in the affirmative will appropriate $595,000 from free cash to pay for the replacement, the flooring, athletic equipment, and furnishings in the Winchester High School. A vote in the negative will not fund for free cash. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. The motion passes unanimously. We do hope that the volleyball team will now hold up to their word in next season. Let's go back.